Hello, crafting friends. I'm Doreen DeSivas from It Begins with Ink and Paper, and welcome to Simply Stamping Sunday. I can't believe the month is just about over, and we're on our 4th week of our beautiful pumpkins. This month has just flown by. I just can't get over that. So I hope it's been a good month for you. I was also just looking out the window and pretty amazed how fast it gets dark now. Seems like it was just yesterday when it was still light at 7 o'clock. Well, as I said, this is week 4 of beautiful pumpkins, and week 4 is always a fun fold, so I'm looking forward to that. So I have 3 great fun folds for you. Let me just grab my cheat sheet to make sure it's close by so that I can make sure I have all the dimensions for you. So tonight I am using Label Me Grateful in 2 of the cards, and I'm also using Turtley Awesome. Let's see, Sweet Friend here. And let's get started, okay? Hi Roz, thanks for joining. Let me see, our first card is going to be, get the right one, no, right here. All right, sorry for that. Okay, we'll put that aside, this aside, and this is our card. So we're just going to make a simple double step card. So it's going to look like this when it's standing. Give you an idea. And then this is the front of the card. And of course it opens up to the inside and has the step as well. Okay, so let's move that aside so that we can get started to make this. Okay, so I wanted to show you how I am stamping the pumpkins tonight. I've already stamped and cut everything out for the pumpkins and the leaves, but I want to show you how I did it. So I think, will a large one fit on here? Oh, yes. So to do the pumpkins, I am using 3 different colors of ink. So I am going to be using Peach Pie tonight, Pumpkin Pie, and Cajun Craze. So I'm going to use, for the background of the stamp, hi Rosalind, I am going to use Peach Pie. So we'll stamp that. In this case, I'm stamping on Basic Beige. Then I'm going to ink up my detailed stamp in Pumpkin Pie. And then I am going to use a dauber, and I'm going to add some Cajun Craze ink. So I'm just going to daub this on. All right. Going to huff on it. And then go right over the top. This way we'll get some of that Cajun Craze on the pumpkin, so it will really match. Then I will use early Espresso to stamp that. And then for all my leaves tonight, I am using Mossy Meadow. So I'll stamp one of those too. I stamped earlier, gosh, I don't know, a lot of different, at least 2 pumpkins for each card. And 3 leaves for each card. So, okay. So those are the colors that I'm using tonight to stamp all the images. I've already stamped them. I've already cut them out. Okay, so let's get going on this. So first I'm just going to do the stamping that I need to do on my front label. So I am using You Are So Appreciated, but I'm using Mossy Meadow ink. So though the early espresso would have looked nice too. And I'm going to stamp that right at the top. And that is so unbalanced, uneven. Okay, I know I have my bone folder somewhere. So I'm just going to turn it over, and I'm just making sure that the little ridges from the cut marks aren't showing. That is so much better. So then I'm going to add my pumpkins. I am going to use Stamp and Seal on this one. And then for the small one, I'm going to use dimensionals. Throw my dimensionals everywhere, and I'll have so many started at the same time. Does that happen to you, that you lose your dimensionals? And there, I just lost the top. Okay, let's get these on. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Yesterday was beautiful, but it was just so crisp. And then I'm going to use my glue dots to put on my leaves. I just find they are just so much easier than trying to put adhesive on the back. So we'll put the glue dots the leaves with the glue dots right on the pumpkin. I meant to put one of these on a dimensional, but it's going to look great without it. Okay. Add a little bit of adhesive and put this on the front. And then what we're going to do, I didn't even tell you what the measurements were. I am so sorry. So let's take a step back and we'll go over the measurements of the card. And again, I will be posting these in the comments, and I will be I'll be posting them in the comments, and on my YouTube channel I'll be posting them in the description. So here I have a piece of Cajun Craze cardstock, and I am just going to score this at 5.5. So I'm going to move my cutting blade. So that's just for a regular card. I also have 2 pieces of this designer series paper, the stripes. One of them measures 7/8 by 4. This one measures 1 that side. I have a piece of this design that measures 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. I have a piece of early espresso that measures 1 7/8 by 4. And then I have 2 pieces. One measures 4 by 5 1/4, and the other measures 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I have a piece of basic beige that measures 4 by 5 1/4. I have a piece that measures 2.5 by 3.5, and a piece of Mossy Meadow that measures 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. I have a scrap of this so that it will, to be able to cut those out. And then finally I have a piece that measures 4 1/8 by 9 3/8, and I'm going to score this at 2 inches and 4 inches. get so excited about the card that I just wanted to get started. So 2 inches by 4 inches. Okay, now we are ready to put everything together. Okay, so this piece is going to go on the inside of our card, and I'm going to put this little piece of designer series paper on it. It's one of my favorite things. You know, once I am ready to send the card, I might stamp something inside, but I really like putting, either stamping an image or putting some of our designer series paper on it to tie the front to the inside. I don't always mat my inside, but for this card I am. There we go. We'll fold this one. And this will go in the inside. All right, now for this, I am going to be folding this into the step portion of the card. Okay, so there's the step portion. We're going to add this piece of designer series paper to the other piece of early espresso. Like I said, this is such a really easy card to make. I'm just lining up that 1/8 of an inch, which really turns out to be a 1/16 of an inch on each side. There we go. This is going to go at the top larger section of the step fold. And then this piece is going to be mounted on some early espresso as well. Just got a whole bunch of tape on my... I always keep some baby wipes handy to wipe up a mess. There we go. So this is going to go on our early espresso cardstock. And then this is going to go on that front panel. And then this is going to go on the front of the card. So now the card is all built. Let me just make sure this is going to go on evenly. Okay, so the card is constructed. It's going to stand fine, but we still need to add this piece to the card. So I'm only going to be putting the adhesive on the bottom part of this. I'm going to put a couple of nice rows of that adhesive. And then I want to center this on the front of my card. And there we have it. Card number 1 is done. So it stands nicely and looks nice. All right, card number 1. Card number 2 is going to be a really fun card. Whoops, I'm dropping my pieces of paper. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, let's get back to work. So this is the card. This is a double bridge card. The card does open up, and it has this bridge. It's going to close either way, but you'll notice when I close it this way, my pumpkins stick off. So I have to decide how I'm going to close it and make sure that that end of the card doesn't go over the edge, because then it won't fit in the envelope. I really wanted to make a much bigger piece of cardstock to hold it, but I have to say it just didn't work, so I had to go with the much smaller. So let's go over what we have. I have a piece of 2x2 early espresso. I have a piece of basic white cardstock that measures 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. There's not going to be any stamping on those. We're just going to put them together. And this is, its true job is to just go between the bridge, kind of like a nice crosswalk, to hold the pumpkins. Look right. So that's all we're doing here. I'm going to do some stamping on here, but I'm going to, right away, I'm going to use this card to just measure. I am going to cut a little bit of this side of the pumpkin off, just to make sure it's going to fit okay. So let me grab my scissors, and I'm just, like I said, going to just cut a little bit of an edge off. There we go. And that should be enough to fit it on our piece of paper. I also have here a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 basic white that's going to go on the inside. And I have a piece that measures 3/4 of an inch by 4 inches that we're going to put on the inside. And I'm going to put it this way, I think. My goodness, I have gone through at least 2 packages of this designer series paper. I have just had so much fun with it, and I've made so many cards with it. And let's do some stamping. I'm going to use, just for our greetings, so I'm going to be using Here For You Always. And I was running out of blocks, so I just put both of these on one block. So Here For You Always. And then on the other side, I have Sweet Friend. And I'm going to stamp that right on the pumpkin. There we go. And that is all the stamping that we have left for this card. Now, let's do some scoring. So I am going to just fold this real quick and put this on our inside so that that is all done. And then we'll get our score tool out. I'm going to actually use my paper cutter because we're going to cut this as well. Okay, so this part is all set. Now let's do this. Okay, so we're going to use my paper cutter because we're going to also cut it afterwards. So I'm going to put this on the 6 1/4 side. Let me get my arm out. So this is the 6 1/4 side, and I am going to be scoring. I didn't need to put my arm out because I'm going to score first at 1 inch. And then I am going to score at 2 inches. After 2 inches, I'm going to score at 4 1/4. And then I'm going to score at 5 1/4. And again, these measurements will be right on in the comments after the live is done. Okay, now I'm going to take this and I'm going to, along the 4 1/2 inch side, I'm going to cut it at 2 1/4. And this is going to give me both of my bridges. So there we go. So easy. Now to do the folding, I'm going to fold it like this. So it's going to look like that when it's all folded. I think you can see that okay. So let me just, like with any fun fold, you want really nice creases. And we're going to do the same thing here. So it folds really easily. And then before I put these on the card, I'm going to actually put my designer series paper on it. So for designer series paper, you need a lot of little pieces. So we're going to have 2 pieces that measure 2 by 2, sorry. So they're going to measure 2 by 2. I just have to decide how I want them to go. I think I like it like that. So these pieces are going to go right in the center. There we go. And then you need 8 pieces, because you need 4 for each bridge, of designer series paper that measures 7/8 of an inch by 2 1/8. And you know, I had cut these all out so that they match, and of course I didn't put those together. So let's see what I have here. Oh, maybe I can do this. Oh my goodness, look at that. Okay, so I'm going to use 2, the ones that match on each side. Okay, so let's just add these. These are quick and easy to put on. What I like about this card is it's different. I haven't made this type of fun fold before. So I really like that part of it. So this goes this way. And these are going to go on the front of the card really easily as well. Let's just turn it correctly. Okay, there's our first one. Let's go to our second one. So I have had a lot of fun this month playing with the beautiful pumpkins. I hope you've enjoyed them as well as we've made. I haven't decided what I'm going to use next month. I want to do Christmas cards for November, and maybe even some other little treat boxes or ornaments, something else that can be done. So I've got some ideas. I just haven't, I just haven't made the final decision. So if you have an idea for a Christmas set, make sure you put it in the comments. And if I have it, I have a few. I have the Delicate Pines. I have the Christmas Moments. I can't remember what it's called. I have the little tree with all the gold and black paper. So I have lots of things that I can use. I also could focus on just designer series paper and simple cards that you can make using designer series paper. Okay, I just want to have this the way I want it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go about 1/4 inch down. And I'm going to bring this end all the way over to the edge. And then I can fold this over and go all the way to that edge. So there we have the first one. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I am going to go about 1/4 inch above and glue that one down, and then bring this over as well. And then you see how the bridges just stand up naturally. And remember, I'm going to close it like this afterwards. So now we have this. It is going to fit right in the center of the bridges. So the side is going to be there. So I'm going to put all of this together first. So again, I'm just going to kind of put this on and make sure that it's going to be okay. All right. So let's put the large pumpkin on first. Small pumpkin's going to go on with dimensionals. There we go. So that's the big hint I'm going to give you on this card. You have to know which way you're going to close it so that you don't end up losing any space and have to then start cutting while it's on the card. I'm just going to move this, get some of this dimensional off because some of it's sticking out. There we go. And now for my leaves. I probably should have just put these all on before I even started tonight. Okay, put that away. So, one's going here. There we go. So now all we have to do is put one strip of adhesive here and one here to get on the bridge. I am going to close this so it's easier to put on. Make sure I center it and keep it straight. And that is our double bridge card. How cool is that? And then again, it will fit right in an envelope if I do that, and then it will stand like that. Okay, card number 2 is done. Let's go on to our last card. And our last card is just a basic flat card. So this is what the front of the card looks like. And then you're going to open it to this. So simple, simple, simple. So let's just put these leaves right on our, and they won't get lost. And they'll be ready to go. There we go. Okay, so I have here, let's go over everything I have. This is a piece of 4 1/4 by 11. We're going to score it at 3 1/2 and 9 inches. So in other words, on one end, I am going to score it at 3 1/2. And then I'm just going to turn it around and score it at 2, because that would be 9 inches if I opened up my arm. Just make sure it's nice and straight. And there we go. So let's fold these score lines. Give it a really nice crisp fold. And I'm scoring it the wrong way, so let's go back. Okay, there we go. That's the basic layout for the card. So I have a piece of early espresso that measures 5 by 1 1/4, excuse me, 4 by 5 1/4, and a piece of basic beige that measures 3 3/4 by 5. And I have somewhere in here a small piece of that measures 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'll buzz you up. I am so sorry about that. My husband ordered sandwiches, and of course, we're in a locked building, and the building's phone to unlock the outside door comes to my phone, and my phone is right here and helping me with the recording. Okay, so we're doing that with this card, and then this is going to go on to it for the inside. And again, you don't have to do that if you don't want to. I just think for these cards today, it just ties in nicely. And then this is going to go right on the inside. There we go. That looks nice. Okay, then for my other measurements, I have 2 pieces of early espresso cardstock. One measures 2 1/4 by 3 3/4, and this one measures 1 3/4 by 4. And then for the designer series paper, I have one that measures 3 by 3 1/4, and one that measures 1 1/2 by 3 1/4. So these are going to go right on that, and they are going to go right on the front. So like I said, all of the cards tonight, all the fun folds are really easy to make. They are not time consuming. And if you use this with the colors you want to use and the designer series paper you want to use, you can use this as a template or a card sketch and make a tremendous amount of cool cards. And so this goes on the bottom. No, this doesn't match, so that's okay. It can go on any way it wants. All right, so now I have my last things that I have is I have a piece that is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, and a piece of early espresso. This is the, excuse me, the early espresso is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4, and the basic beige is 2 inches by 3 1/2. So we're going to stamp the top using early espresso ink, and I'm using You're the Best. There we go. And we're going to add the pumpkins now. So in here we don't have to worry about what sticks center a little bit. So it is going to go right like that. I just kind of touch my shirt. If I get some extra, I'll take it off later with my, and I'm going with my eraser, my adhesive eraser. We're going to put this up a little bit. So we'll add those dimensionals. I'm going to, before I do that, I'm going to put this on this piece. There we go. And we'll put that one right here. Just add our leaves. There we go. Now for this one, I'm going to be attaching it to the top this time instead of the bottom. So I'm going to just put my adhesive at the top of this piece. And I'm going to add a little extra just because it's not on the whole way. I'm going to center this, and look how fast this card was. And there's our card all finished. So, the end of the month, some great fun folds. And let's look at the cards we made again tonight. So our very first card is here's the front of it again, and it is a step card. Then we have these are some great cards that would look great displayed. We have our double bridge card, and then we just have our front flap fold. So which one is your favorite tonight? I kind of like them all. I'm really happy with them. So that is it for this month. Like I said, if you have a Christmas set that you might want to see, I have Peaceful Days. I have Christmas one with the little tree, and I can't remember what it's called, with the beautiful designer series paper. I have the Delicate Snowflake. So I have several, and I am really excited to share with Christmas with you next month. So thank you for joining me tonight. I'll be back Friday night for another edition of Fun Fold Friday. And of course, I'll be back next Sunday to start November with a new stamp set. Thank you for joining me tonight, and have a fabulous week. Good night, everybody.